Well, hello there. This is Android Faithful, where even if you're sweating in Texas or Japan or feeling a little bit chilly in Colorado or New York, we are here for you every week to bring you news, hardware, and apps in this, our world of many temperatures of Android. I'm Huyen Tue Dao.
And I'm Ron Richards.
And I'm Mishaal, Rahman.
Coming at you from all corners of the United States, all different temperatures here as we hit the chill of fall. Mm-hmm. We are back. Wynn, welcome back. We missed you. You were off gallivanting.
Missed you guys too. I was gallivanting, enjoying Japan with my husband, but I am back, or as they say in Japan, tadaima. I'm home.
It was nice to see you pop into the chat room last week when we were doing the show. That was fun.
It was great because we were getting ready to leave the hotel we were staying at, and I had finished my packing, so I was like cruising around YouTube, and I saw that we were live, and I was like, "Well, shoot, I'm gonna hop on the show." So yeah, I was happy to at least hear you guys a little bit last week, even if I couldn't be on the show. So that was
Excellent.
great.
Yeah, we were surprised to see you pop up in the chat room. Like, I had no idea what time it was locally for you when you popped up.
9 or 10 a.m.
It was the next day, right?
It was the next day.
Those
it was in the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
No luck, huh?
Now
Yeah.
I'm a millionaire. So,
okay, great.
This will be my last episode because I won the lotto. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no. So Jason is not with us this week. He is on assignment that we cannot talk about, but he'll talk about it in the future. And we're going to hear from Flo a little later in the show. She's going to pop in with a little special video review for us. But Mishaal, well, good to see you as well. You were here last week, so I feel like I just saw you. So yeah. Perpetually Mishaal. But yeah, so why don't we get right into it? Because the news never stops, and neither does Google, right, Mishaal? So what's first up in the news?
All right, so Google has recently argued in court. Actually, like last week, Judge Amit Mehta, who was like one of the judge in the US v. Google antitrust trial, he basically gave Google a pretty decisive victory. He ruled that Google didn't have to divest Chrome or Android, but he did also rule that Google can no longer pay companies to exclusively use their search or Chrome web browser or Google Play Store. So like Google can't say, okay, we're going to pay you $10 billion. And if we do, you only have to use our Google search or our Google Chrome web browser. You can't use any other competing products. However, he declined to bar all payments outright. So, Google can still make payments, but just can't precondition it on exclusively using their products in favor of other competing products. But now Google's arguing that, okay, as part of the ruling, the judge basically argued that, okay, the generative AI landscape has kind of changed the landscape. It was in the past basically inarguable that Google had a monopoly and that this monopoly would have basically guaranteed their position that they were abusing the monopoly to push their other services. But now their position is more threatened than it's ever been. And basically, because of this, Google has to actually compete in the AI landscape. They have to actually compete and make a better product than other companies. And now Google is saying, okay, because, we need to compete, we want to retain the right to be able to bundle Gemini with our other services. We want to be able to precondition that, okay, we want to be able to include Gemini with Google Maps, for example, with YouTube. And they want to have the right to do that. And they're arguing in court that they should continue to be allowed to do this. And the Justice Department, on the other hand, is saying, okay, no, Google should not be allowed to do this. And why? Because Google Maps is by far the most dominant web mapping service on the planet. YouTube is by far the most popular video hosting platform in the world. And so it would be a big deal if Google is able to bring Gemini to users in both Google Maps and YouTube. So they're hoping they'll be allowed to do that, or they'll be allowed to continue to do that because they obviously are already integrating it
right
in many ways.
You can't avoid it. You walk and turn anywhere in the Google ecosystem. You get hit in the face with Gemini. But I mean, it's interesting though, because the way you lay it out, Mishaal, they're Google has a point. It is a competitive landscape in the world of AI, right? Like, and not that I'm taking their side, but I understand where they're coming from and arguing that the ruling related to the antitrust as it relates to search and to browsers isn't really apples to apples when it comes to AI. I mean, up until I don't even know. I don't know how you guys are scoring your AI scorecard and who's winning in the AI arms race. But like, up until, you know, the whole story about Gemini's development was because they were so far behind OpenAI.
I mean, it's still true. I think it's objectively true that ChatGPT is by far the leader in the space in terms of popularity. In terms of actual like capabilities, it's very debatable who's the best at certain aspects. I think people still generally agree, like, for example, Claude is the best at programming.
Yep.
That's generally the consensus.
Yep.
With Sora 2, is Google still the best at video generation? Maybe not. I think Sora 2 is probably people think is the best one right now.
I can tell you, all my friends in LA are freaking the F out at Sora 2, by the way. Like, all the entertainment industry is absolutely in a panic over Sora 2.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, Google hasn't released their next gen model yet, right?
Yeah.
We still have 2.5 Pro and 2.5 Plus, so maybe 3.0 will completely blow the water out of everyone else.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but it's also, I talk to normies, and I still get a lot of, I don't know how to use ChatGPT versus Gemini is in all the Google apps that I use. It's already, it's a easier sell to users on how to use Gemini than how to use ChatGPT to average users, at least, not, you know, technical users, that, so to speak. I don't know, Win, what do you make of that? Do you think Google has a leg to stand on? Or?
I mean, it's always hard because I think in abstract, it's these kind of like anti-competitive monopoly cases. In abstract, you know, everyone's just trying to make business, right? Do business. It's funny because I think the only thing I can think of right now is that the bundling of it, and actually to your point, Ron, is the kind of high learning curve with, you know, this current generation of AI for like a lot of normies. And it just reminds me like, yeah, okay, like bundling Gemini into the OS into Android, for example, just kind of gives it a level of accessibility like automatically just because it's there. And you don't have to do anything extra. And in fact, they're just pushing it in our faces. It just really rings a lot, very similar to me of like the whole issue with, was it who bundled the browser that people were mad at? Was it Windows or was it the Netscape? Whichever one it was, not.
Netscape was mad at Microsoft for bundling.
Right, Netscape was mad.
Internet
right, Microsoft for bundling Internet Explorer. That's right. So, I mean, in that case, same thing, right? Like a lot of, and this is the same thing where if you have users who are not like tech savvy, crazy nerds like ourselves, it's usually the most convenient thing becomes the thing. And that's why, I don't know. I just think it's very interesting. I don't necessarily have a specific opinion whether I think, oh, like Google's right or Google's wrong in this, but it just feels like time is a flat circle. And I think if we can argue, you know, if we can view something like, you know, the Internet Explorer being a fair case of monopoly, because obviously people just use what's in front of them, Google has an advantage, and regardless of whether they have the brand awareness of ChatGPT or the popularity of ChatGPT, people will use what's in front of them. So I'm a little more kind of mixed on that. Like I suppose like it is a weird space, and it's like we don't have it it's such a weird amorphous space. Things are changing every day. We have no idea the true impact of AI on how we do any kind of, we'll call it computing these days. So I wouldn't like pass judgment too quickly, but I can't help but think of those things. So yeah.
It is interesting. I mean, there's something to be said for Google's ease of integration with Gemini into their suite of applications as an advantage. But why should they be penalized so early in the arms race? I guess I don't know.
It is a different. Yeah. I mean, it's a different scenario because like they were, you know, they were forcing the bundling of Google Search and Chrome. Like, you know, if you wanted Google Search and Chrome, you had to bundle all of our other applications, right? That was problematic because by the time they were asking for those two things to be bundled together, Google Search and Google Chrome were already dominant. They were already by far the most popular. It's different now because Gemini is not the most popular AI service, not the most popular AI chatbot. ChatGPT is. So they're asking, say, okay, if you want Google Maps, if you want YouTube, you have to bundle Gemini as well. They're doing that to boost Gemini's popularity. It's not already the most dominant, like already the most dominant chatbot like Search and Chrome were at when they were asking for those to be bundled with all the other Google apps. So it's a little bit different. Like it is in the sense Google using its dominance with Maps and YouTube to push another one of its services, which is problematic, you know, depending on how you look at it, but it's not the same exact scenarios before.
It's interesting. It'll be curious to see how it all plays out. I mean, I definitely think that the AI arms race is different than the search monopoly and the browser kind of monopoly of what happened, but it's hard to argue. I mean, they're in the soup with as one lawyer when a group of lawyers I worked with at a previous job always said in the soup when you're in the middle of a legal battle with the DOJ, and I'm sure the DOJ doesn't care if it's kind of an emerging spot. They can see themselves as potentially getting ahead of it. So who knows? But all right. Well, one area they don't have to worry about is Wear OS. That's right.
That's right. And if you're waiting for Wear OS 6 for your Pixel Watch 2 and Pixel Watch 3, guess what? You're going to get it. Google's October 2025 update will bring Wear OS 6 to your Pixel Watch 2s and Pixel Watch 3s. These updates include dynamic color theming, new rounded fonts and icons, and kind of new Wear components, including edge buttons, pickers, dialects, and scroll bars for you Wear OS developers, as well as updated tile templates and layouts. And yeah, the update also includes an October 5th security patch with a fix for vulnerability affecting certain Qualcomm components. So yeah, if you're not rocking a Pixel Watch 4 like me, that's not a flex. I'm just happy. I mean, I'm wearing the same band, but now I have my Pixel Watch 4. You can still get the kind of updated Wear OS 6 starting 5 days ago, whenever that was, starting on October 8th. So yeah, if you get it and you find Wear OS 6 is just dramatically better and awesomer than Wear OS 5, write it in and let us know. And I guess if you don't think that either, also write it and let us know. I think it's cute. I think it's cute. But
I mean, a little bit is like pour one out for the OG Pixel Watch because it doesn't seem like you're going to be getting Wear OS 6.
Yep.
No, but
and wonder why. Is it just because? I mean, how long ago was that?
I think it's just end of life, maybe.
End of life. How many years ago was it?
3 years now. Because I mean, we just got the Pixel Watch 4, right? So
yep.
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess what is the obsolescence rate for a watch? I guess what is the expected obsolescence rate?
They definitely get a lot less support than smartphones do.
Yeah. October 13th, 2022.
Yeah.
So 3 years.
Oh yeah, 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh, to the day, today, or whenever, like this week. Yep. So yeah.
All right. Well, there it is. So sorry, OG Pixel Watch folks, but it might be time to get a Pixel Watch 4, and so stay tuned because later in the show, we've got Flo's review of the Pixel Watch 4, and you can hear whether it's a buy or a pass. But speaking of watches, we know that Pebble is re-entering the chat. People are very, very excited for that. Coming in, announced earlier this year, Pebble is coming back with the Pebble 2 Duo and the Pebble Time 2. And they're going to be coming out very soon. Ahead of that, Pebble has revived their App Store. Which has got everybody buzzing and getting very excited about that. The Pebble App Store is back, and it's got a couple of old apps that are out there, as well as watch faces and things like that, and it's bringing back the love for Pebble. And it shows, some folks say you can never go home again, but it seems as if that you will be able to, at least if home was the Pebble App Store. It's basically they're laying the groundwork for to house the new apps that would be out for the Pebble Watch, and this is probably this is more of a infrastructure kind of setup thing in advance of the new watch's releases, as they need to make sure that the apps are available and ready to go for that. But yeah, people are excited for the Pebble. I mean, people love that Pebble.
100%. Everyone I know who was had a Pebble in the past is so jazzed.
Yep.
Can't wait. Getting the shipping notifications and stuff. Was excited.
So it should be neat. So folks who pre-ordered, also, by the way, there's a new Pebble app that's available on Android. If you want to check that out, that has been released, but for both Apple and iOS, and it's in a testing phase. So you can sign up to become a tester for that if you want to help them out. And they are currently estimating that the Pebble 2 Duo shipping target is December 2025. But it's indicators that it might slip into the new year. But Pebble was gone and now it's back. So you could be, if you're waiting for one, you can be patient for a couple more weeks. I'm sure it'll be worth it. So.
You can go home again. I like it a lot.
Exactly. I don't know. I'm excited. I mean, talk about a feel good story in the world of hardware and things like that. So yeah, it'll be nice to see that happen. But yeah, so keep an eye out for Pebble. But the App Store is live. The app is live. Go check it out. Write us in. Let us know if you are getting a Pebble. If you're excited, write it into contact@androidfaithful.com. Let us know if you've pre-ordered one and why you like Pebble. We'd like to hear from you. So,
I mean, it's kind of wild to me how like watches, like in terms of functionality, the things you can do with watches, have not really significantly changed in like 10 years.
No.
And the fact that people are content with using watches that haven't been relevant, I mean, like, hardware wise for 10 years to still be comfortably using them today. Like if you were to use a smartphone 10 years ago, there'd be a lot of things you'd have to complain about in terms of the camera, the display, the performance and everything, things like that. But watches, no big deal, because you're not really losing much by using a watch that was technically outdated years ago.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's interesting because at the end of the day, what does a watch got to do?
Right. Tell the time, notifications, track some fitness stuff, like very basic stuff.
Right. And there have been some advancements, and obviously we'll talk about the latest and greatest with the Pixel Watch 4.
Yeah.
But in terms of like at the core, what is it going to do?
Yeah.
So.
It's like something because the screen is so small. You like just by definition, the functionality is so limited. So you just have to do the few things that a watch is really good for, right? And like it's a small set of things. So yeah, I'm that honestly, it's very charming to me as someone who like feels pressure to need to like keep up with all the new things, both for this show and for work. That something like Pebble still exists.
Yeah.
That'd be really nice just to like
and our quote unquote smart watches of today are still trying to keep up with the battery life of Pebble watches and other watches.
Exactly.
We're not even close to those levels.
It set the bar really, really high. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Did either of you have a Pebble back in the day, the OG Pebble, or
no?
Yeah. Are you gonna get a new one? Do you want a new one?
There's only so much room in my wrist.
I was gonna say.
I'm already wearing two things right now. I'm gonna look like a butthole if I add a third one.
I dig it. I'll see how that comes out. I don't know. I don't like wearing watches though. That's always my limiter. So we'll see. But all right. That's it on the news. Although we got a Patron Pick to deal with, right?
We do, and this is the time in the show where we talk about the Patron Pick. So every Monday we put up 3 stories. Some of them from us, some of them from our lovely patrons, and we allow them to vote on those stories to determine which ones we talk about here on the main show. The other 2 stories, the lesser winning stories, do not get ignored anymore. We do talk about them, but only in after hours, which is available for our patrons of the $10 tier. Is that correct? Question mark.
Yes, all patrons at the $10 or higher tiers get to watch the Android Faithful After Hours bonus DVD extra episode every week
behind the
where
scenes.
we talk about the losing patron news stories as well as stories that did make the cut for here on the main show. And you could go sign up at patreon.com/AndroidFaithful and you can sign up for that tier and get access to that. So.
Well, everyone gets to listen to us now pontificate on the winningest story for this one. And every week we have a bug droid for this, right? So every week we also ask for a bug droid hero image to display with our patron picks. And this week is from very, very regular live stream member, cousin of Ja, submitting yet another bug droid image this week. And it's just like sweet and simple. It's like a really nice computer setup with a lot of bug droid wallpapers. There's like a PC with a display and actually that kind of looks like, is that a Mac?
It looks like a MacBook Pro. Yeah, it looks like
a MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
So just bringing the fam together, PC and
little bug droids happy to be productive on their monitors. That's all. Yeah,
happy, but just very simple and very lovely. So
if anybody goes to patreon.com/AndroidFaithful, you can see this bug droid image. You don't need to be a member. It's out in the public. Everyone can see it and enjoy the wonderful generative AI artwork that Cousin of Ja put together for us. So.
All right, well, let's get to the stories. We had 3 stories, and the least winningest one with only 23% of the vote. Am I looking at that right? Yeah. Is that Spotify in ChatGPT lets Android create entire playlists without lifting a finger. So an AI story for you there, but we won't talk about it now. We will talk about it in after hours.
That was relevant to earlier conversation about ChatGPT. So,
absolutely. Yeah. And so the second winningest one that we also will talk about during after hours is Google TV could soon let users generate their own AI videos. Oh, another AI story. Unsurprising, but the winningest story this week is something very special, and also a story by our very own Mishaal Rahman, and that is about LineageOS releasing its Android 16 update despite the many challenges which we have talked about on the show for the last several months with the Android source code. Mishaal, this is your article, this is your baby, so I kind of want to just throw it to you. But I mean, I guess yay that LineageOS 23.0 is released, but I mean yay that Lineage has continued to be a ROM that continues to push out updates, but the story is not so simple, is it? Because of, I guess, many things that I know you in particular have written about, but that we've also talked about. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and let us know maybe like the less good side of the release, or maybe some of the bumps they've had.
Yeah, Lineage is, for those you don't know, it's the most popular custom ROM. If you want to install something other than the operating system that's provided by your manufacturer, LineageOS is typically the go-to. It's like the most widely available for most devices. And for the longest time, Pixel devices have had like basically first class support from the Lineage maintainers. Like on day one, whenever they would release a new version, Pixel devices would be available. You would have builds of their latest version available for most Pixel devices. This time, however, only the Pixel 4a, 5G, the Pixel 5, and the 5a are available day one for LineageOS 23.0. And that's because a couple of months ago, Google basically stopped providing a lot of the code that made developers' lives easier, and it made it easier for them to port AOSP or custom versions of the Android open source project to Pixel phones. They stopped providing the driver, the hardware abstraction layer. They started providing the device trees. They started providing the source code for the kernel sources in like they stripped the history and they just provide it in like a giant zip file basically. And then also, back in September, Google released Android 16 QPR1, the Android 16 QPR1 first quarterly release for Pixel phones, but they didn't publish the source code. And it's been over a month since they released that update, but there's still no source code. In the past, we used to get the source code for new quarterly releases and new major releases within 1 to 2 days after Google rolled out the update for Pixel phones. But today, over a month later, there's still no source code, and we don't know when it's happening. So because of that, because there's no source code, and because LineageOS is a hobbyist project, they don't have contracts with Google. They don't have access to the internal source code that Google provides to OEMs like Samsung. So they basically have no choice but to release with what they have. They're releasing LineageOS 23, which is based on the initial release of Android 16 that was released in June. And so they don't have a lot of the marquee features that Google released with QPR1, including Material 3 Expressive or the new desktop mode. So you still get a lot of the benefits of Android 16, but you don't get those big features that Google pushed out last month for Pixel phones. And then also if that wasn't bad enough, there's also the security patch issue that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, where Google is now basically only publishing the source code for security updates quarterly. So with the September Android security bulletin, they released a lot of the patches, although some patches are still not available, but they released a lot of the patches for that they released in that month. But between those months, between the March, between the June, the September, and December quarterly security bulletins, custom ROM makers like LineageOS, they're not going to be getting the source code for the security issues that Google is technically fixing behind the scenes, and they are providing to OEMs. So you basically won't get monthly security updates anymore from LineageOS. It's just impossible for them to do. So yeah, there's a lot of issues, a lot of things that they now have to overcome, basically just deal with. And things used to be a lot better in the past. They used to get monthly security updates out the door. Pixel devices used to be guaranteed shoe-ins for day one Lineage releases, but things are different now, and they just have to make do. They just got to deal with the changes. But still, they managed to push out an update. The update includes Android 16 changes, as I just mentioned. It also includes a new version of 12, their music player. Also includes a new version of their browser application. It also includes a new launcher app for TV devices called Catapult. So if you have a TV that has a Lineage 23 build available for it, you can use a new ad-free, clutter-free launcher for it. They also include the latest security patches that are available at the time they release this update. a lot of other fixes and some new features related to charging control, etc. I mean, the changelog, the blog post is really long, so I recommend you go read through it if you're interested in installing this on your device. And if you are interested, there's a lot of devices available for. There's over 100 devices that you can install this on for.
The list is insane. It just goes
Yeah.
on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
I can't believe how you mentioned this is a community project, and the listing of all the people who work on this and maintain these branches and stuff like that. Like, they deserve so much credit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a thankless job, right? So.
Oh yeah. Because a lot of people, they don't get kudos enough for the work they do. They often just get complaints or like, please fix this or help me fix this.
Yeah.
The TV launcher I thought was interesting because I know we often get a lot of people asking what are the alternatives to the Google TV launcher, right? And now, here's one to consider, right? So
I am curious to see. I haven't tried it myself. Maybe I'll try it later to see if you can install this on existing devices, that TV launcher in particular.
Yeah.
Like maybe I can just pull the APK, install it on my Shield TV, for example. That would be neat.
Yeah. That'd be very, very cool. But so it's like, is this what their life is going to be like from here on out, or is it going to get any better? Like, it's all dependent on Google, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, Google did say they were going to release the QPR source code eventually, but the longer they hold out, the longer that means LineageOS users will have to wait for Material 3 Expressive and desktop mode and other features like that.
Right. And like, it doesn't really behoove Google. I mean, this is where not open source, but like it behooves Google to hold on to that stuff to maintain the Pixel experience for as long as possible, right?
But I mean, they do provide that source code to OEMs. Like
right, but
OEMs,
there's a business
Samsung.
relationship. There's a business relationship there.
Yeah.
Like those, it's not like those OEMs are like, they're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart, right? Like, the OEMs are paying into Google to get access to that.
Yeah.
Right. So, either Lineage can grow up and start and become an OEM, or
that's not happening.
Or Google can get kind-hearted and take what they see as their competitive advantage and make it available to the community sooner, which isn't happening.
I mean, that's literally what they did on the past decade plus.
Right, but now it's a different. Now it's a new decade. It's a different world, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't think that's happening. I think that's happening no sooner than Lineage becoming an OEM.
Yeah, just kind of their priorities these days for Google seems to be their partners, for better or for worse. While maintaining it's still an open source project, but you can definitely feel the sharp corners of, being driven by business and the priorities of business over open source, which, I mean, is not inherently evil or bad or anything, but it does feel it is. Attacking is not the right word, but provides, proves detriment to like long running projects like LineageOS. I'm just happy to hear that they are continuing to release. I'm kind of curious if anyone is a LineageOS user, how these delays, obviously not getting security updates is not great. Like missing security updates is probably one of the most like striking things I think against that might dissuade someone from continuing to use LineageOS. But I mean, I'd be curious to hear from anyone who does continue to use LineageOS. Like, how much does this deter you from continuing to use it? Are you just going to be more careful from now on, or are you going to take the bumps because you value and prioritize whatever the benefits and advantages that you have from using LineageOS over using anything from a big OEM? And I'd just be really curious, just because like, I feel like if it were me, I'd probably just stick. I mean, I don't, but I could see myself in another life doing it. And like, while again, security updates not being provided is not good, I could almost see myself like just wanting to stick it out. As people definitely want to like de-Google or just have more control. I don't know. Let us know.
I will make it less specific than that, Win. I'll say, if anybody uses Lineage, email us at contact@androidfaithful.com and just raise your hand and say, I use Lineage. If you want to expand and say yes, but like, honestly, I don't know anyone who uses Lineage, and
Yeah.
it was interesting because somebody in the on Patreon who commented on Jared in the Patreon, one of our patrons said, I'm glad the current story is winning. Really interested in the commentary regarding it, because it is an interesting commentary. It is an interesting situation. Like we talked about the Google no longer doing something that they did that doesn't really serve their business interests. But again, I don't know anyone who uses Lineage. I mean, Mishaal, do you? I mean, you're probably closest to somebody who would know. Like, do you know anyone who's running Lineage on their phone?
I mean, technically, I know multiple developers, multiple people who work on the project.
No, right.
So,
Aside
yeah,
from
they
people
do.
who work on the project, though, but you go out.
No,
with
I don't know
someone,
anyone personally. No,
right.
no.
Yeah. So if you are a Lineage user, write in. I'm very curious. Just period. And then obviously win the stuff that you asked about, like why and are you worried about it, all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah. So let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to take time right now because like stories like that, and honestly, this whole podcast in general is brought to you by the patrons. Patrons like John John Rives. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong, John, and Devin Gannon. So we want to take time to thank them. Literally couldn't do the show without you. And if you want to get in on the fun of either suggesting stories to us, getting in on the patron pick, or being able to hear those other 2 stories that we didn't cover, consider becoming a patron of the show, patreon.com/AndroidFaithful. I know some of you probably are like tired of hearing us like ask every week, but it really does make a huge difference and makes us be able to do this show. So put up with it for just a little bit. And we'll just keep talking about Android.
And it does help in ways that you wouldn't even realize. Like, for example, Jason's not here this week because he is traveling somewhere, and that's being paid for by patrons, and it's going to help the show and all that sort of stuff. So, like, you know, it is helping not only keep the lights on, but us look for interesting ways to bring you content to help enjoy for Android Faithful. And so you could also sign up, and at any level or higher, you get the ad-free version of the podcast, which is great. You know, so folks love that. And then, you know, $20 or higher, you get the t-shirt, which is awesome. And we're getting close to the end of the year. So maybe after January, we'll look about adding some new merch or, you know, mixing it up for those of you who've been on the fence. But hopefully, you know, what is it now? October. So we're almost 6 months in of doing the after hour show. Hopefully you all are enjoying it. Some of you stuck around. We can't thank you enough for doing that. So yay. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we come back. We're going to hear from Flo about the Pixel Watch 4, and we got some more hardware news, so stay tuned. All right, so last week, the Pixel Watch 4 and the Pixel Buds 2a reviews hit the world. And you can go over to androidfaithful.com, and you can check out both Flo's review of the Pixel Watch 4, which she dubbed the Apple Watch of Android phones. Which is quite intriguing. And then she also shared her Pixel Buds 2a review, where she claims that the addition of ANC makes these a worthy upgrade. But I could tell you all about her Pixel Watch 4 review, but why should I when we could hear it direct from Flo herself? So let's hear from Flo right now.
If you want to see the full review of the Pixel Watch 4, head over to androidfaithful.com. Right now, I'm going to tell you what I liked and what I didn't, and whether I think the Pixel Watch 4 is worth buying. Clearly, I think it's worth buying. I traded in my Pixel Watch 3 for the Pixel Watch 4 in a smaller size. This is Android's equivalent of the Apple Watch. Google shrunk the bezel even more, so there's something like 16% more space in that domed little chassis for things like fonts and images. The Pixel Watch faces are mostly the same that you've seen them, but they have some new trimmings. There's more of that Material 3 expressive happening across the board. Wear OS 6 on the Pixel Watch 4 is smooth so far, thanks to that Qualcomm Snapdragon W5 Gen 2 chip. Apps launch quickly, there's less latency swiping between apps and finger typing. Battery life is better too, in part because of the watch's hybrid compute architecture. There's a secondary chip taking on the menial tasks of being a watch. I managed 2 nights of sleep before I had to charge this thing. Charging is super fast. I juiced up 70% in 25 minutes. I didn't like the silly side-facing watch charger, however. It's a big change from the last 3 gens, which basically render the old Pixel Watch chargers useless. And now here's what I really don't like about it. The watch bands splay out like tentacles, or maybe what I want to say is wings with nowhere to fly. The chip inside the Pixel Watch 4 also handles the raise to wake gesture for Gemini. Now it works until it doesn't, and then it's just randomly addressing you about what you've been talking about to a friend. I didn't like that, and it interrupted a couple of private conversations during testing. Now we're at the part where I'm supposed to tell you whether I think this is something you should buy. And to that I say yes, because I have some faith in the Pixel Watch 4's longevity now that we are in what is essentially season 4. The Pixel Watch is the most repairable it's ever been. It uses the same watch band since the first generation, and there's little difference in performance between the size you choose. The only thing to really consider is whether your lifestyle justifies the price for the LTE version, which offers satellite SOS. That will likely remain a premium feature, like how the equivalent tech is only available on the Apple Watch Ultra line. I didn't buy the LTE version of the watch because I already have it on my Pixel. I like the Pixel Watch 4 so much, I'm putting aside the OnePlus Watch 3 and 43mm. This was my saving grace over the summer with its 100-day battery life. OnePlus uses a very similar coprocessor scheme. Its wellness offerings are a little less built out than Fitbit, however. I'll have more to say on what the Pixel Watch offers for wellness when the Gemini-based Wellness Coach launches soon. Ultimately, the Pixel Watch 4 is an excellent choice if you're Android faithful, especially if you're a Pixel smartphone user. The promise of longevity makes its whopping price a little easier to swallow at the end of the day. Don't forget to check out androidfaithful.com for our written reviews, and don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. Bye, everyone.
Well, thank you, Flo, for that wonderful...
Thanks, Flo. Bye,
wonderful,
Flo.
wonderful point of view on the watch. One quick correction. The OnePlus watch that she referred to as a 100-hour battery limit, not 100-day. She misspoke there.
That would be insane.
I caught that. That was
amazing.
pretty funny. The video, if you're video viewers, you saw her. She corrected it. It said 100 hours, but audio listeners, I wanted to correct that for you. But yeah, I was shocked because I know for years Flo has been very critical and rightfully so of the wearable space in general, both for small wrists. When I know you and Flo have often talked about the small wrist aspect, but just a lot of her points about the Pixel Watch 4, just the fact that it's, we're in the 4th generation of it, and now it's they've learned from it. They've made a lot of adjustments. They've gotten it to the point where it is a buy, whereas previously it was like, maybe, and now it's a go buy it, to quote Flo. So I don't know. Are you guys hearing the same about the Pixel Watch 4, or what's the word in the street in regards to the Pixel Watch 4?
No. Yeah, just in the reviews I read online, people are generally very positive with it. Like they're especially super impressed with the display from what I've seen.
Yep.
It is a
Battery
big
life.
difference, yeah.
Yeah.
Or a little difference. I use my Pixel Watch 3 a lot, especially in Japan. I like it for, like, now, for example, in Osaka, you do the tap to pay in the transit, and I use it for directions. And then as soon as I got home, like literally it was sitting on my doorstep when I got home. So I very sleepy, jet lagged me actually put the Pixel Watch 4 on immediately, and I could immediately, like, I noticed a difference with the dome. In fact, I kind of forgot about the dome screen when I put it on, and I was like, something's wrong with my eyes. But it's really nice. And I think, like, and I didn't actually, I'm still with the 45mm. So even though I have a skinny wrist, it fits great. I think it goes really well. It was funny because we talked about some of the changes to the Wear OS interface, like all the little bubbles and the way that the app kind of tapers. And it makes so much sense now, the way that the UI has been designed to fit these rounded shapes with the dome screen. It all just seems to fit. And I can only confirm, yes, like it's a lot snappier, a lot less latency. The little upgrades from Material Expressive are nice, and I'm very happy. In fact, I think I'm actually going to try to start using this as my primary fitness tracker. Whoop users just have been going through a lot of pain and, like, just stupid, nasty, greedy tactics from Whoop. I might actually start using this for workouts. I need to figure out what to do when I have kettlebells. But yeah, I'm kind of interested to actually try out the Fitbit features for once. But yeah, I'm excited. So
awesome. And then just back over to the Pixel Buds 2a review. Flo surprised me on being very pro these. She gave them 4 stars in terms of her review. Given the pros of it being that the battery will last a full week with the charging case. The ANC was the ANC support was a real difference maker from her point of view. And the music sounded very good, very bassy where needed. And she had said there was very little to frown at in the cons column. Overall, really delivered and did the job. So very good job for noise canceling. Does that tight, snug fit, good battery life. That's what you want out of earbuds. So if you're looking, if you're a Pixel user in the ecosystem, the Pixel Buds 2a are worth the pair. So all the Gemini goodness and that fun stuff in there. So good stuff. Well, thank you, Flo. Always good to hear from you, even when you're not on the show. So I'm right. Excellent. But that's not all the Google goodness we got in hardware.
Yeah, we can talk about the Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold, which I also found sitting on my doorstep when I got back.
Oh, did you get it?
I did get it.
Ooh.
I can give you my opinion on it.
Show it. Fold it. Unfold it.
Unfold it. It's beautiful.
Look at that.
I mean, it's really similar to the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. The things that are different about it are, beneath the surface, like the actual QI charging, as well as the fact that it's IP68 and the gearless hinge, which, Google was so proud of. They actually took to their blog to discuss it. And it's actually really interesting. I feel like foldables are still very much a niche device, but it's amazing how much innovation, engineering, and investment companies have made and continue to make into these devices to make them better and better. And so one of the most interesting things about the Pixel 10 Pro Fold is that it has a gearless hinge. And I am not this kind of engineer, so I'm a little bit still lost on how the magic of this gearless hinge works. But generally speaking, most of your foldable phones use some kind of geared hinge to allow both sides of the foldable to open symmetrically and smoothly when you pop them open. But gears, just like any other kind of mechanical, component of a phone, are a point of failure. And I should have talked about it more when I was actually actively using the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. But yeah, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold had gears, and I definitely can hear on my old Pixel 9 Pro Fold a little bit of wear and tear, a little bit interesting noises after using it for a year. And so these are the kind of things that the Pixel 10 Pro Fold has aimed to address. It actually uses cams in lieu of gears. And I had to look up what a cam is, and it's like the camshaft in your car engine, where it's got like little, instead of like a round like rotator thing, it's got like a teardrop thing where it kind of it converts rotational movement or force into linear movement or force. Anyway, engineering magic, amazing. I didn't understand it, but the thing is that this allows the hinge to actually be like thinner, which has allowed for a slightly larger 6.4 versus 6.3 outer display, as well as make more room for battery, so a bigger battery life. So you can kind of see how these, especially in such a complex device, a foldable phone where every space matters, you can kind of easily see how these investments, and even something as maybe not as not as sexy as a hinge, can really kind of have cascading benefits. And so yeah.
Wait, I gotta ask you, since you've used both the 9 Pro Fold and the 10 Pro Fold, can you do you actually notice a difference in the hinge as you're folding and unfolding it?
So I mean, a little bit. So the problem is, like, I've had this for a day and a half.
Okay.
But I do think it's smoother. There's less noise, but that could also be a factor of time, because I mean, even so it's hard to tell. But I mean, like, it does open. I mean, like, the other one did open at 180 degrees. So yeah, it's hard to tell right now, but it's very smooth. Like, if I had like a wholly fresh Pixel 9 Pro Fold, I'd probably get better. Like, I mean, all of us can make a better comparison. But yeah, I mean, it's weird because I mean, also. My Pixel 10 Pro Fold has a case on it because I drop things, and I have a handle on it, and it's just hilarious how much thicker it already is because of the case over my Pixel 7 Fold. So yeah, it's just interesting.
Pixel 7, or you mean Samsung?
Samsung
Okay.
Galaxy Z Fold. Sorry, Z Fold 7.
Yeah.
Because just side note, kind of going off on a tangent, when Samsung gives you a case for their case for the Z Fold 7 is a half a case. It's just the back with a handle. So you get you get the sexiness, the slimness of the phone. Whereas, gosh, I put the official case on the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, and it just becomes a chunker already. You can kind of see here. But that's the interesting part, right? Because while this is an extremely wonderful form factor and I love it and I'm so used to it, I actually was kind of like hesitant to like transfer over to the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. I'm gonna see how I like, better battery life, the actual like first party Pixel Snap, I mean, accessories. And I mean, I don't plan on dunking my phone in water, but it is something to say that durability has been a problem for foldable. So yeah. Anyway, and like the new gearless hinge makes that easier. Also, by the way, friend of the show, Brian Cutter, who is head of CMF colors, materials, and finishes, who we interviewed last year for the Pank, actually has a little quote in this article, and they kind of talk a little bit about the aesthetics of this. They wanted to make it kind of more premium. The little like part of like the hinge also was giving it little gold accents, so it makes it appear more like jewelry, a little more high end.
I'm glad you called that out, because I wanted to, like, this whole blog post, by the way, is completely such a keeping up with the Jones. Like, Google is watching nothing and OnePlus and like, this is their tonal reaction to that.
Yeah.
Because like, this whole thing about the hinge is completely like, we saw OnePlus do this with the Open, right?
Yeah.
Mishaal, remember we sat in that room and they showed us how the hinge made, and they did the exploded look and all that sort of stuff. And then this whole the shot of people standing in front of a drawing board with pencils and rulers and figuring out how they're going to design the phone, like, because this is exactly how it works, in the drawing room, right? And we love Brian Cutter and we love the Pank and all the colors, the colorways that go into Google stuff and stuff like that. But this is such a response to the attention to design that is happening in the hardware space at other manufacturers, and I'm glad that Google's getting in the conversation in this regard. But I did laugh when I saw that. I'm like, oh, they clearly are responding to nothing in OnePlus and other manufacturers.
I mean, that was my first reaction to seeing the hinge. I was like, man, I've been seeing beautiful hinge pictures for like 2 to 3 years now, like OnePlus and even like other manufacturers. So I did. To be perfectly fair, I did have the impression. I was like, oh, so now we're getting in on the hinge bragging bandwagon. Okay. But trying to keep up with the Joneses and compete in the foldable space. Maybe prepping to like go head to head with iPhone or the iFoldable whenever that comes out. Be like, hey, we were here. We were doing stuff. We were being cool and like sexy before y'all. Anyway. But yeah, like if you're interested, it's a cute little article, and if anyone can explain how the cams work to make the hinge work, please write in and explain. Again, not that kind of engineer, but it's cool.
Very cool. All right. Well, speaking of design, we got some looks, didn't we?
Oh yeah. So we've seen this device several times. We've even tried it at Google I/O. The Samsung Galaxy XR, the Project Moohan headset. We've seen it, we've touched it, we've worn it, but we have not really had the opportunity to actually take a peek at what's inside. We don't know what the software actually will look like. I mean, we know what Android XR in general looks like, but not like One UI's version of it. We don't know what the chip will be inside of it. We don't know what the displays are going to be like. We don't know what sensors it's going to have. But thankfully, the folks over at Android Headlines have published a complete full breakdown of everything you need to know about the Samsung XR headset. So what do they reveal? Okay. Spec-wise, just going off the boring stuff first, I would say, it has a high-res 4K. Okay, it's not really boring. High-res 4K micro OLED display with a PPI of 4032 with this headset. And the headset will deliver a total of 29 million pixels across 2 displays. So for comparison, the Apple Vision Pro delivers 23 million pixels. The chipset is the Snapdragon XR2 Plus Gen 2 processor, which can deliver 4.3K resolution per eye. And, it has a bunch of sensors. It can combine input from your hands, your eyes, and your voice. You have sensors for hand tracking. You have sensors at the bottom of the headset for picking up your hand gestures. You have a depth sensor that is designed to recognize walls, floors, and ceilings. Eye tracking sensors. You have 4 eye tracking cameras inside the headset. And then you have voice tracking microphones. You also have 6 cameras throughout. 2 are world facing, and there's also an LED on the front to indicate the activity of the headset itself. But the most exciting bit is, I think, what they reveal about the design and the comfort. So you basically have, around all the lenses, you have a soft touch material that sits on your face, and they say will be quite comfortable. You have this cutout where your nose will sit, and it's supposed to going to be wide enough so you don't have to worry about your nose having to actually carry the weight of the headset. And in fact, to say that your nose won't be carrying any weight of the headset at all, because the strap that goes behind your head will make sure it sits properly. And it also has a ton of cushioning. And overall, it supposedly only weighs 595 grams, which is quite light for this kind of full headset. And Samsung also tried to make it as ergonomic as they could. They use a ton of cushioning, as I just mentioned. There's also a dial on the back of the head strap, which you can use to fine tune for your use. And then you also have bands on the side that provide extra stability for wearing the headset. So yeah, we basically got a ton of details, all the specs you need to know about the device, including the controllers. 2 controllers you'll be using with 6 degrees of freedom. It also has 2 speakers for spatial audio. Then you also have the UI, which Samsung has slightly customized. They're calling it One UI XR. You have the typical Google apps, but you also have Samsung specific apps like their camera app, their gallery app, and the internet app. Presumably, those will integrate with the One UI versions of those applications on the smartphones in some way. We don't know exactly how, but we do have some screenshots of the UI itself, which shows, you have the top menu, which has a home, a Google and Gemini icons, and then you have a bunch of the home screen launcher for launching your application. So, yeah, a ton of details. I think the only thing that we really have left is to see what is the pricing and the availability going to be like. So I think those are the 2 most important things for this being successful or being a dud.
So, and we talked last week about this being rolled out in Korea next week, potentially based off that poorly AI translated Korean article.
Yeah, they said October 22nd. They said
October 22nd. Yeah, so in middle of next week. So we'll see. That means that whether or not it stays in Korea or when it makes its way here to the States. But ideally. Yeah, it says it's Korea's got pre-registration signups will be starting on October 15th, which is tomorrow. The time we're recording this is on Tuesday, so but these are all, and it's rumored to cost at least $1,800. An Android headline says what sounds about right, but it's just a wild rumor at this point. So yeah, this is a crazy, well put together exclusive that they have, just like gathering up all. I mean, it's got to be like on the verge of being announced if this sort of stuff is getting out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of leaks and things like that. This is quite comprehensive for sure. Yeah. I don't know. Do you think if it's $1,800, is that the right price point? What do you think?
I mean, that is way cheaper than Apple Vision Pro.
For sure. It's like half the price, right?
I still think it's too expensive for most people to consider buying.
Yeah.
Because they're going to look at this and be like, why would I get this? What's the point?
Right.
Yeah, it's I forgot they had a term for the 2 experiences, like a headset versus glasses, like a session based device versus like all day wear. And not that I would agree to pay $1,800 for glasses, but I feel like something, at least the idea is that the glasses you wear all the time, right? It's like omnipresent, like computing, whereas this is very session based. And like my husband freaking loves VR, at least he did. So, I mean, I could see like us weirdos getting one, but I would be interested to see like how the sales number, and maybe it's not necessarily that 2,900 or whatever the Vision Pro was the wrong price, but that just anything above I don't know $1,000 for this kind of experience just might not be what people are looking for. But who knows? Yeah. I'm willing to admit I'm totally wrong on that, and maybe people will just jump at it.
No, I mean I think you're right. I think it's not going to sell very well at that price point, because I think one of the reasons the Meta Quest does so well is because it's at a price where it's it's a pricey device, right? But it's still affordable enough to where like a grandma could think, oh, this will make a nice Christmas present for my grandkids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
$1,800. That is not a Christmas present level price.
Yep.
No.
It's pricey. Right. It's an investment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still hate the battery pack. I feel like it's drawing so much power. It's such a commitment to put on your face and power and to do the whole thing, and it's just I feel like the glasses or the Meta Quest is a less intrusive kind of experience, right? Even though some of those glasses do have battery packs and things like that. I don't know. The power is always going to end up being the limiting factor for this for me. So, we'll see. Well, we'll find out. We'll be staying tuned to see what happens in Korea if it is pre-registration does open up later this week, and if there's some sort of show off event or anything like that does occur. So either way, it's exciting. It'll be cool to see Android XR finally out in the world after how long? I mean, it's been a year now.
It's been a year. I think December. Yeah.
Yep. So, all right.
All right. Well, another kind of big area for phones right now is thin is in. We've got the Edge. We've got like the iPhone Air, and now Motorola is throwing its delightfully thin hat in the ring, like a very thin hat. Will be like a very thin hat. I don't know. Like, I don't know. A shawl. a shawl. The metaphor has fallen down, but what hasn't fallen down quite yet is the Motorola. So we have Motorola is going to release what is going to be called here. Wait, sorry, I'm getting my notes. The Edge 70 or the X70 Air in China. They're under 60 millimeters thin phone, again competing with the S25 Edge, the iPhone Air, and even like some of Techno's devices. Like everyone's doing slim these days. A leaked promo showed 3 colorways, one of which it's almost Halloween. Was a what is that, bronze green? Very
I like it. It's like a neon-y green.
It's
like
a neon-y.
Yeah.
It's a witchy green, to be honest with you. It would be good for Halloween. Some other specifications that we've heard of from this official reveal is a 4800 milliamp battery, which is actually pretty sizable for some of these like thinner phones. 68 watt wired charging support, a 50 megapixel main camera with OIS, and an ultra wide with 120 degree field of view. It seems like some Italian retailers have listed it as having 12 gigabytes of RAM with 512 gigabytes of storage, somewhere between 700 and 800 euros or $800 and $930 ish, sort of. But yeah, no, it looks like, again, thin is in. And we'll see what Motorola has to offer. I mean, the styling looks a lot like their other Edge phones. Like if you look at the camera bump, it's got like that same sloped kind of uniform color bump with the 4 cameras, but it'll be thin, very, very thin.
I got so confused when I saw this because I related Edge to Samsung.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, technically, I mean, Samsung has had Edge. They haven't used the Edge name in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Motorola's
but they did have an Edge before. But Motorola's been using it for a lot longer, more recent. They've been calling their whole Edge lineup. This is the Edge 70, right?
Yeah. So I guess it's Samsung who, I don't know who took the Edge first. I don't know. Yeah.
Who had the Edge on the Edge?
Yeah, well, exactly. Who had the Edge on the Edge? Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I'm actually. I was really like. I know. Like last year, I was kind of like poo-pooing like thin phones, but I mean, now to be honest with you, after like even just again going back to foldables, how thin the Z Fold 7 is compared to like the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, I was like, okay, I get why thin is in. They're like, it makes a difference. It's just whether the compromises are something you're willing to put up with in terms of like battery life and everything else. But hey, if you're a Motorola fan, you're gonna get some options. Yeah, thin ones.
If I could just quickly do a quick tangent and just share like a little behind the scenes of Android Faithful things that amuse Ron in the tech world, is so we were referring for this news, we referred to the website GSM Arena, which is a great website, lots of great specs, lots of good information. They've got some good news, things like that. But if you're ever bored, scroll down and read the comments, because usually there's like 2 or 3 comments, and they're just, I want to know who's the dude who's commenting on gsmarena.com, much like Cian, who said, if people want thin phone, just don't use cover. It would be a lot thinner on your very own phone. I mean, that's emoji. True.
That's true.
Or Anonymous, who said, mobile industry innovation in 2025, quote, I wonder what Samsung is doing.
Oh, snap.
It is the gift that keeps on giving.
Shoot, there's some long ones down there.
I know some long ones down here, but Pita Paca said 700 for a bomb of 200 just because bigger screen, thinner case. It's just like I really like it. There's nothing better than websites with not a lot of engagement when there's like 2 or 3 people commenting, and they're just like out there. I love it. Okay. Little tangent for you. All right. Well, that was hardware. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with some app news and then a bunch of emails from all of you, our lovely audience, because we love to hear from you. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right. First up in apps, if you've ever been out in the world and you're on the subway, you're on the bus, you're on the train, you're on a plane or whatever, and you check your phone and you're very excited because you got that text message from that special someone, and then you open up that message and then you quickly scramble to turn your phone's display off or to put your phone back in the pocket or cover it up because that person sent you something that you don't want other people to see. Well, don't worry. Google's going to have you covered, because Google Messages is now going to make sure that you don't get flashed in videos, because they're going to have some protection around videos that are shared in Google Messages that will recognize nudity in videos and warn users that they're about to see some NSFW content. So if you have this feature and turn it on, any videos of nudity in Google Messages will be blurred by default, and you'll be able to delete NSFW videos before viewing them. And this is all part of their sensitive content warning system that they rolled out a few months ago, and been talking about all summer. Initially part of initial text messages first, now towards images, now it's extending to video, which, to be honest, is pretty dang cool. Like the fact that it's detecting the nudity before you open the video and see it and giving you that warning is pretty crazy. But
you say it's pretty cool, but people were freaking out for months about the fact that Google pushed out a new app called System Safety Core to devices. They're like freaking out, or Google was uploading all your messages to the cloud and scanning them for nudity.
Yep.
Yeah, that freaked people out for a long time.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, because they're automatically scanning sent and received videos for this content. But all this analysis
happening on device though.
I was just gonna say that it's happening on device. It's not going up to their cloud, so the videos and the content never leaves your phone. And you can turn it off if you don't want them scanning it, if you want to protect your content in that way. This is a feature that is not being forced on you, but it is available if you are a teacher, or you work in an environment where sensitive content should not be readily shown on your phone, whether you want it to or not. I don't know about you guys, but I have friends who don't really care where I am and will send me whatever they think is funny or whatnot. Like, accidents happen. And this is, Google, I think their heart's in the right place in trying to implement these sort of protections for folks to protect, from sensitive content, especially if you have little ones and kids and things like that. And important to note that it is, the scans are happening on device, not up on the cloud. So.
Okay, two thoughts. I wonder how they tested this. They QA tested this feature, and how whether they wrote unit tests for this. If you work at Google and you're a fan of the show and you worked on this, please let us know. I'm just curious. I mean, I full respect that this is a difficult thing to QA for. I need to know how you guys QA'd this. Yeah. And second, Ron, I couldn't help but think of Phil Collins when you said Nudio. It's like Nudio.
We're gonna start a startup called Nudio.
Nudio.
There. Oh man.
Oh goodness.
All right. Well, let's get off the nudity.
On to something more wholesome. Google is working on theme pack support for Android. So back in May, Google pushed out a new version of a new Android beta, and I found that Google was working on a themes entry in the wallpaper and style app. And while it wasn't functional at the time, its description revealed that Google was working on pixel theme packs for devices. We didn't really have any information beyond that, besides the fact that Google was working on pixel theme packs, which include bundles of different things that'll customize your device. We don't know exactly what will be customized, but in the latest QPR2 betas, I've been digging through and I found evidence that Google's developing a new system feature called Theme Manager, and that this Theme Manager service basically provides the foundation for the Pixel Themes feature, or at least I think it'll provide the foundation. So, without getting too deep into the weeds, if you want to learn more about how this will work, I wrote extensively about it in this article and on Android Authority. Basically, the way that Material U dynamic colors works is, it analyzes your wallpaper, extracts a dominant color, generates 5 different palettes, and then creates 13 colors of each palette, 13 colors in each palette of different luminance values, and in total you have 65 different colors that then apps can read from to theme their own UIs. And this is basically how Material dynamic coloring works. But the way that Android currently stores that preference, like the generated theme, is basically in this single JSON string that can be that has to be basically modified every time the system theme is updated. And any application with this secure setting permission can update that preference. So it's kind of a messy right now. Like if for example, that JSON string would become malformed in some way, like there's an issue with one application reading it and corrupting it, like potentially changing it in a way it shouldn't have, then it could cause the theme to crash, or at worst, system UI to crash, because that in the end is what's reading it and applying it system wide. So Google's basically they're fixing the foundation of the way themes work on Android. They're introducing a theme manager API, which is like a complete architectural overhaul. It basically acts as a central gatekeeper. It validates and it stores and it applies the system theme. And whereas the old system basically mostly focused on dynamically extracting colors from wallpapers, the new system also adds a way for apps that are using this API to more easily supply predefined theme settings. So this is, I think, one way that whatever new customization apps that Google will be releasing will be able to provide predefined themes, i.e. theme packs, to users. And at the moment, this theme manager service is designed to only provide like colors, like predefined color packs that the system can apply. But I'm sure that Google will also bundle a whole bunch of other customization options with these theme packs, including like changing icons, changing fonts, changing other settings that are already available manually, but will be changeable with a single click in a future version of Android.
Cool. I think it's cool stuff. This is the kind of thing I can get lost in, right? Doing theming and doing all that fun stuff. So the more tools that they do to do this stuff, the whole breakdown that you wrote up, Mishaal, of how they extract the colors and stuff like that blew my mind. Like, that is so cool. Yeah. So
I think this feature is more for people who don't want to sit down and think about it too hard. They just want okay, give me a cool theme. Let me apply that with one click.
Yeah. But you get lost in doing that though. But you could do it with all the different options, right? So, all right, very cool. All right, and one more little bit of news.
Yeah, we got one more story for you. It's a little AI related. It has to do with a Nano Banana, which I think is the funnest to say model. Nano Banana. Nano Banana is coming to more Google products. It's coming to Google Search as well as Notebook LM. So with Google Search, you're going to see, you should see now a little lens icon. If you tap lens and take an image with it or select an image from your gallery, you should now see in Lens a create button, which allows you to use Nano Banana to instantly transform your images. And they have a little GIF example in their blog posts, like demonstrating this. And yeah, basically the person snaps a photo of presumably their room and prompts Nano Banana to reimagine their room with more color and more style and flair. But not only that, you can also have Nano Banana be working for you inside of Notebook LM. It's working under the hood to make video overviews more helpful, as well as bring 6 new styles to overviews like watercolor and anime, as well as generating contextual illustrations for your sources and powering a new format called Brief that allows you to present quick insights. So yeah, Nano Banana everywhere. Banana.
I don't have it yet. I don't have this on my Lens app yet. So
I have it. And it feels weird to me. Like, Lens has always been about searching, and now you have something to create images for Lens. It feels weird.
I agree.
It feels like a weird place.
Doesn't fit. Doesn't seem. I don't
have. It kind of feels
either.
like they're just they realize Nano Banana is going viral, so let's put it in places to get in front of more people. It doesn't really make sense to me to put it in Lens or Circle to Search, but whatever. They think it's a way to get people to use Gemini, and clearly seems to be working, because I think it is going viral. It is really good at what it does.
Yeah, that's like the AI. That's the AI strategy right now. It's like just throw the darts everywhere, and wherever it sticks, it sticks. I do wonder, like, long-term usage. Like, obviously, like, it's really hot right now, but I wonder, like, long-term, whether people will continue to use it, like they find utility in it, other than just, I don't know, like, just to get in on the meme of it or the trend of it right now. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Like the Notebook LM stuff sounds, kind of interesting. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, what is this doing in my Lens?
And why are they still using like the code name? Like, Nano Banana is clearly the code name for this feature. Why is
I was going to
like
ask the same thing.
Official name?
Not only why are they, because it's popular and it's fun and it's whimsical, and like but the banana GIF, the animation and stuff like that
doesn't mean anything to anyone. Like, it only meant something to like all the influencers who were hyping it up before it launched. They were using the code name because Google never gave it an official name. I think like the official name is literally 2.5 Flash image generation. If you go to like the API, and like there's no actual proper name for it. You have VO for video generation. Why is there no? I mean, wasn't it just Imagine?
It was Imogen,
or whatever.
Imogen, remember? Imagine.
I guess I never took off, and no one really called using that, so they just switched the name.
Wild. Nano Banana.
Banana.
It's got a ring to it. I mean, clearly, Win, you like saying it.
Nano Banana.
Nano Banana. All right, let's go to wrap it up for apps. On to our emails. We love to hear from you. You can email us at contact@androidfaithful.com. And our first email comes from Larry in Kennewick, Washington. He says the dry side of the state. I guess that's in reference to the wet side over in Seattle. But Larry says, it's time to move on from my Pixel 6a. I'm considering buying a Pixel 9a from Google because I don't like the price tag for a 9 or a 9 Pro. However, AT&T is offering a Pixel 10 Pro for free, plus activation and taxes, on a 3-year contract. I'm intrigued by the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor and the Pixel Snap accessories on the 10 Pro. I have a lot of apps on my 6a related to smart home functions. My 6a, when charged to 80%, doesn't usually last the whole day. What are your recommendations? This seems like a no-brainer. I mean, Mishaal and Win, I wanted to get your gut check on this. Seems like a no-brainer. Get the 10 Pro for free. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
definitely a solid upgrade.
Yeah.
Definitely don't use a 6A for, get rid of that phone as soon as you can, because that is one of literally phones that they're telling you to trade in because it has a defective battery.
Exactly. And if you don't like the price tag on the 9 or 9 Pro, I feel like the free is a pretty good price tag on the 10 Pro. If AT&T is your carrier.
Yeah, if you're sticking into AT&T anyway, then.
Right. I mean,
it's going to be a dramatic upgrade. Like, it's a huge upgrade from the 6A to 10 Pro.
I mean, like,
go for it.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're thinking about the 9 or the 9 Pro, I mean, you can't go wrong there either. I mean, either way, upgrade is upgrade. I used the 9 Pro for a year before the 10 Pro, and it was great. And even the 9 itself, I mean, really, you're coming off of a 6A, which was like the more moderately priced version of the 6, right? And the 6 Pro at the time. So you're going to get 3 or 4 generations better. But if you're price conscious and AT&T's offering the 10 Pro for free, go for it, right? I don't know. I don't know what I'm missing there, but yeah.
And like MagSafe, Pixel Snap accessories, depending on who you are, could be game changer. Just like a lot of utility. Could be really fun to kind of tap into that accessory.
Yeah, it's a new generation of phone accessories, right? So.
Yeah.
All right. So Larry, tell us what you end up getting. Let us know what you think. So, all right. Next up, Win.
All right, the next one is from Andrew, longtime watcher, first-time emailer. I've been rocking the Pixel for 3 iterations now on the even numbers, and the 2-year lease is up in January. I tried the lease option this time to see if saving a few $100 to see if it was worth it. I just hope the signing into everything goes well in January. Topic on full circle, I've been hearing some less than stellar reviews about the Pixel 10 from across the space. I might go back to Samsung after being out of the game for 8 years. What should I be concerned about the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra coming from the Pixel 8? Am I missing out details on the Pixel offerings? My main concern is camera holding its own against the Mighty A, and call screening is an almost daily need. Thanks, and keep up the great work, Andrew Haverson.
So, ironically, Andrew's hearing not good things about the Pixel 10. So, Larry, don't listen to Andrew. But so if you were moving off of Pixel onto Samsung, what would you advise someone? Like, what are they going to miss? What do they need to be wary of?
I think Samsung does have call screening. Right now it's manual, but there are rumors that with One UI 8.5, it'll get automatic call screening.
Okay.
I don't know if it's as good as Pixel's call screening, but it does have it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a bunch of other features that are currently Pixel only, like Now Playing, for example. I think in general, I mean, Samsung does have just on like if you look at it count for count, a lot more features than Pixel phones do. But they're all scattered. There's just so many different features scattered around through settings, through different Samsung apps. It's a huge. You're basically changing ecosystems entirely, right? Sure, there's a lot of shared things between Pixels and Samsung, the Google apps, but a lot of the best features on Samsung phones are in Samsung apps. So if you're not already using this, if you're not committed to you switching to those versions of the applications you already use, you might be missing out on some of the best things they offer.
Right. I mean, yeah, it is as close to it won't be as dramatic as going over to iOS because you'll still be in the same realm. Your apps will work and stuff like that, but it'll be a familiar change. How about that? Like it'll definitely feel different, but familiar in some ways. So
it took me a little bit longer than I would like. Pixel you'll just use out the box, but Samsung, to really get the most out of it, you do have to spend some time setting up because it is so powerful. I mean, that's like a compliment in a sense, in that you can do so much with it. You have to invest time in it. I am a foldable user, so the cameras on those are just not they're not great. So just take it with a grain of salt. I mean, like, honestly, I haven't been impressed with either of my cameras, but I mean, I still feel like the Pixel cameras, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really, this might be more of a flow question since she has more of like the eye on the different cameras. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, do you guys have opinions on like the Samsung Ultra camera versus the Pixel 10 Pro cameras?
I haven't touched a Samsung in years, so I'm not one to talk.
I mean, the Samsung, it's very good. The only thing that's still a sticking issue is just the shutter speed. It's still kind of slow. So at capturing, especially photos of moving objects, it's not the best.
Okay.
Still something that suffers from. But, zoom wise, still very excellent. Just overall color science, still very good. Video recording, very highly rated. Features, also a ton of camera and video features that, are very good, especially if you want to take pro level recordings. But I think in general, just Pixel is just easier to use. I guess I would say it takes a lot less thinking involved because there's a lot less things to actually fiddle with. You just you just do it and go, and it does things automatically. Yeah. But yeah, if you're a power user, Samsung is definitely for you.
Yeah,
I will say, being from a Pixel user for the past, however many years, 5 years or so, the thing that has always kept me from going to another manufacturer's phone or another OEM's phone has been that fear of missing out on whatever is going on in the Pixel ecosystem in terms of the latest functionality or the stuff that Google's bringing to the, like drifting off of it, whether it's to OnePlus or to Samsung or to nothing or whatever. You guys know me. I want a different phone. I want a different form factor phone. I want a phone that looks different, but at the end of the day, when it came time to switch to the phone or Motorola or whatever it is, I'm like, but Pixel's got all this stuff I like. I want to stay over here, and I haven't left it. So, I understand the hesitation, Andrew. So.
I actually ran into this setting up. So I opened the Pixel Watch 4 before I opened up the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. So I paired my Pixel Watch 4 with the Samsung, and I forgot that things like Watch Unlock are just Pixel only things, and like other things, like fall detection, all those kind of things. So I think like there's plenty of wonderful Google features, and as you said, call screening is an almost daily need. It might be coming to Samsung, but if there's other things that you think would be really useful in your life, like fall detection, like some of those other safety features, that might tip you over. I think it just like depends on your like priorities. Yeah.
Cool. All right, we got one more email.
And our last email comes in from Craig, who wrote to say, I use an original Google Pixel phone with Drive Sync. This app takes photos from Google Drive, downloads them to the Pixel, and then deletes them from the cloud. My new phone uploads photos to Google Drive with Drive Sync. It might take 1 or 2 days for everything to sync, but this setup gives me unlimited storage. I also have a Pixel 4 that my daughter uses for music. We're setting it up as her phone so she can use WhatsApp with a limited number of people. When I checked the Google Photos settings on her phone, I noticed something interesting. Even though it offers unlimited saver storage, it defaults to original quality. It seems like Google wants to fill up your drive quickly and not let you benefit from unlimited storage. They probably regret offering that feature because people like me find ways to get unlimited storage forever. Smiley face.
I don't know. The reaction to our conversation about storage last week, right, Mishaal, when we were talking about all the different ways to get around the Google One subscription or various storage options or things like that.
I will admit, I actually do still have my OG Pixel XL. The battery is basically dying on that thing, completely dead. And I have occasionally dumped a bunch of photos from my other phones onto that device so it would upload in original quality for free to Google Photos.
Nice.
I stopped doing that a while ago because like it's not worth it. And like I have 2 terabytes now in Google One and I'm not even close anywhere to filling that up. So I stopped doing it, but I can understand the temptation to do that.
That's too funny.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. Well, with that, we've come to the end of the main show, and that's it for this episode. Mishaal, let the people know what you're doing.
Doing my usual thing, posting about Android, finding out new tidbits of whatever Google's working on in the world of Android. You can go to my Linktree page at linktree/Rahman to find my article archive, to find links to all my social media platforms. You can join my Patreon page to join the Discord group where I frequently tease things and talk about what's coming in Android. And yeah, that's basically it.
Mishaal, there are so many icons and links here. How do you sleep at night? Is it stressful?
I mean, most of them I don't use them that often. Like
I've never even heard of Matrix. What is Matrix?
It's one of those federated. Yeah.
Right. You're everywhere, man. I'm impressed. You're good job.
Well, Ron, you're going places soon, yeah? So what do you want to tell people about?
I am, yeah. So I'm going to be in Chicago later this week. Actually, technically Schaumburg, Illinois, outside of Chicago. But I'm going to be attending Pinball Expo. Very excited because my startup, my company Scorbit, is going to be unveiling our latest and greatest stuff. We got a brand new logo, brand new branding, brand new look and feel. We're going to be hosting a panel at Pebble Expo on Thursday, October 16th at 11 a.m. And then we're hosting a party Thursday night at the Interium, Family Fun Center arcade type thing that night, teaming up with the blog Kineticist. Super excited about that. But yeah, really, really excited to share with people all about the new Scorbit app and what we can do with the new technology. And I'll talk about it on the show next week when it's all out in the public. So, but if you're in the Chicago area, come to Pinball Expo. I'll be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Come say hi. If you see me, I'll be walking around, and always fun to see folks. So,
awesome.
Quick question, Ron.
Yeah.
Does the Scorbit app support Material 3 Expressive?
No, it doesn't, but it will. I will get there. We'll get there. So
Awesome.
I will say, I'll give a hint, and Win knows this. The whole app infrastructure is built on Kotlin multi-platform, and that's driving both the Android and iOS app. And the iOS app is built in Swift UI, and then obviously Android is built in Kotlin. So I'm very proud that I bullied them into doing that, but it actually saved their butt in a lot of things. It's made build cycles go very. Kotlin multi-platform has been awesome. So yeah.
That's awesome. You should probably talk to JetBrains, the folks that make Kotlin and KMP.
Yes.
I think they would love to hear it. Or if you ever want to give a talk at Kotlin Conf, I always love hearing interesting use cases for Kotlin. Speaking of that, I'm an Android developer type person, have been for 13 years almost now, 14 years almost now, and I do give talks about Android stuff. You can find stuff that I do. I'm going to give a talk at the end of the month at DroidCon London. All that stuff on my website, roundtyping.com. I am actually not much on social media, but if you see a Queen Code monkey, it's probably me. But that's it for us for the main show. Patrons, if you are a patron of the show, you're going to get access to After Hours, where you're going to hear us cover the shows you get to cover the articles that we didn't from the Patron picks about, say, Google TV and generative AI, Spotify and ChatGPT. We're even going to talk about maybe some new Oppo phones, some new Samsung phones. So, hey, if you're interested in that stuff and you want to get a little more of us chit-chatting about Android stuff, $10 tier on Patreon, over at patreon.com/AndroidFaithful. But that is it for us for the show for this week. This podcast publishes every Tuesday evening. Check out our website, AndroidFaithful.com, where you can find things like Flo's review on the Pixel Watch 4 and other amazing content that everyone is generating. Subscribe. I already said that. Email us, contact@AndroidFaithful.com, and we'll see y'all next week. Love you.